What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is That One App Guy, and today we're going to be comparing the Galaxy A53 5G to the Galaxy A35 5G. Now, one thing I want to say is, first off, let me clean these phones. Look at this. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. We freaking hit it, man. And you can see here, I did take a screenshot when we did hit 1,000 subscribers. So crazy, and you can see just yesterday we had 853 views on my last video, and now we're at 3.1k views, and we're getting monetization here. We already get 348. I really appreciate it, you guys. Never thought it would come this far. Now you can see, if we look at both phones, they look super similar, almost the same exact phone. But there are some pretty major differences between the two. So, if we first start out with design here, on the back of the A53 here, we have plastic. Just a standard plastic back, Samsung logo, bold, it's proud, and it's just standard black, and we have this nice camera bulge with quad camera setup. With the A35, we have a glass back, so way more premium, with a less noticeable Samsung logo, and it's like a navy blue. I really love this color. It's not like your standard black. With our newer style triple camera setup, but still not our newest. On the right side, this is fake stainless steel. This is actually plastic compared to some matte plastic on the A35. Now, me personally, I prefer the stainless steel type look, but that's just me. You can see we have the Key Island design on the A35 on the bottom. You could see, put this actually on the bottom so I don't scratch a new one up. You could see almost the same. You're getting an extra mic on the bottom of this and a newer speaker style. Also, the SIM card tray isn't there. On the left side, nothing. On the top, we have one mic on the A53 compared to another mic in the SIM card tray on the A35. And that's about it. So you can see in the front, they're both, pretty nice screens. They both have always-on displays. And they both have the in-screen fingerprint sensors. And they both work like the exact speed. Let's try it. Now that's the wrong finger setup, but we could try this one. Bam. Bam. So you can see they're both pretty fast fingerprint sensors on there. The way, guys, I'm now cracking into a wireless charging pad. See what that looks like. Pretty cool. I doubt if that'll work still. It just goes in the bottom of your phone and kind of makes it wireless charge. By the way, both phones do not have wireless charging. With these screens, though, I do want to say something. The screen on the A35 is completely flat, while we have a little bit of a curve on the A53. So that's something to keep in mind. I personally prefer the flat screens because I think they look a little bit better. But yeah, if you prefer the slightly curved ones, dip down ones, you can go with the A53. Now, with software on each, they're both running One UI 6.1, as you can see right now. And blur that. Don't blur that. Don't blur that. So you can see One UI 6.1 on each. The A53 is probably only going to get 1 more year of updates. Well, this is going to get 4 more years. So that's one reason to upgrade. Big substantial reason. And if we go into device info here, you can see the screen is slightly smaller on the A53. And the hole punch notch is slightly smaller on the A53 also. Now that could be a good or a bad thing. So with the processors, they're very similar. On the A53, we have an Exynos 1280. On the A35, we have an Exynos 1380. So you're getting a pip up on the processing scale on the A35. Now, if you think this Exynos 1380 sounds familiar, it is, because it's actually the same processor in the Galaxy A54. So, if we go into Geekbench, you could see there's quite a substantial difference here. We're not in the thousands on the A53 while we are on the A35. And huge multi-core increase. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. The screens are very similar. 6.7 on this, 6.5 on this. Basically almost the same thing. They're both 1080p. They're both 120 hertz. This might have thinner bezels. 6 gig of RAM and 128 gigs of storage on both. With the cameras, I'll go over that in a minute, but they both have 5,000 milliamp hour batteries and no headphone jacks. So, with the cameras, on the A53 we have a quad pixel setup. On the A35 we have a triple setup. Let's start with the A53. We're getting a 64 megapixel main camera.
On an A35 triple setup. That sounds like a bit of a... Let's see if we can figure out.
Alright. 64 megapixel main camera. Oh, another thing. Oh no, there's no Bixby button. I thought it was a Bixby button. 64 megapixel main camera. 12 megapixel ultra wide. Or no, 8 megapixel ultra wide. 5 megapixel macro and 5 megapixel depth sensor. Well, with the A35, we're getting a 50 megapixel main camera, so a little bit less megapixels, but, you know, megapixels isn't everything. 8 megapixel ultra-wide, 5 megapixel macro. So losing the depth sensor on the A35, but the processing is good enough that it can just integrate it. So this quad camera setup is basically this setup. So if we take some pictures, and I show you the camera apps, they are exactly the same. You can see there, we could switch over to our highest modes, 50 and 64. And in normal mode, on the A35, it's 12 megapixels, and on the A53, it's 16. You could switch to your ultra wides, you could switch to your 2x, and you could zoom both all the way into 10x digital zoom. You do get the same portrait modes and same fun modes that you get on the A53. You get the same exact video modes. So you're going to be getting super steady. So if we go to Ultra HD here, there is a couple advantages actually to the A53, which I'll go over in a minute, but you do get your super steady both at full HD, 30 FPS. And while you're in Ultra HD 30, you cannot go to the ultra wide on the A35, where you can go to the ultra wide on the A53. So the ultra wide records 4K 30 FPS on the A53. Well, it does not on the A35. And what's funny, if I go to full HD at 60 FPS on both, now neither does the A53 actually. They both don't have ultra wide for 60 FPS full HD. You have to go to full HD 30 FPS to actually use your ultra wide while recording. So keep that in mind. You can do Ultra HD and do the ultra wide if you have the A53. You cannot with the A35. And same exact modes. I don't think we're losing any modes whatsoever going with the A35. And in real world, the A35 has way better processing, comes out with way better pictures. And if you don't mind the video, you're going to have to record a little less quality if you want to do the ultra wide. As long as you don't mind that. But anyways, which phone do I recommend? The A35. Just because it's faster. It's actually way faster in the real world. And you're getting way more software updates. But if you have the A53, if you are using that right now, I'd keep it for one more year. I'd let that thing roll on. As soon as One UI 8 comes out, get rid of it because it won't get updated to it, most likely. So I would just get, when One UI 8 comes out, I would get the A35. So thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and yeah. Peace.